Hello all. Today we are learning Unit 5 for BBA Aviation 4th semester, that's called Consumer Decision Making. In the Unit 5, you would study the following contents. Contents are Consumer Decision Making, Opinion Leadership, Dynamics of Opinion Leadership, Types of Consumer Decision Making, Model of Consumer Decision Making. So there are completely 5 topics in detail you're going to understand in the module 5. So let's get started to learn one by one. The first one, consumer decision making. What is consumer decision making? It's a process that involves customers or consumers to identify their needs, gather information, evaluate alternatives, and then make their buying decision. It may be determined by economic or psychological factors and are influenced by environmental factors like social and cultural values. So it's a process that involves a customer to identify their needs, gather information, evaluate alternatives, and then make their buying decision. There are 5 stages of consumer decision making process. This is one of the methods used by marketers for identifying and tracing the decision-making process of a customer from the start to the end. The process is categorized into 5 stages, which is the first one is need recognition. First, whatever you want to buy, whatever the customers or consumers are buying, if they have a need to buy the product, then only they'll buy the product. That's called need recognition. Next is search for information. When they have a need, and then they will search for information about a product. Next is evaluation. Whether should they buy product A, should I buy product B, like that they will find out the evaluation, or they'll make an evaluation about different alternatives. Next is their purchase decision, whether to buy or not to buy. Next comes the post-purchase evaluation, where they will give the valuable feedback about the product. It might be positive or it might be negative. So there are 5 stages of consumer decision process you studied. The first one is need recognition. Second one is search for information. Third one is evaluation of alternatives. Fourth one is post-purchase evaluation. And the fifth one is purchase decision. Next, need recognition. What is need recognition? It occurs when a customer exactly determines a need. An example, one who buys water or cool drink whenever he finds thirsty. Next comes the search of information. The information search stage is a buyer decision process tends to change continuously as customer require obtaining more and more information about product which can satisfy their needs. Suppose if a customer wants to buy an LED TV, he will find out more information, gather n number of information about the TV and different types of TV available in the market. For example, if he wants to buy sugar, salt, milk, something which is called as a basic necessity, the information what he gathers is less compared to the information what he makes or what he gathers for an LED TV, because LED TV is more costlier than the necessity products. Next comes evaluation of alternatives. The steps involves evaluating different alternatives that are available in the market. This evaluation might be in the terms of quality, might be in the terms of price, or any other factor which is important, which is considered important as for the customer's point of view. So the third one is evaluation of alternative. Next, purchase decision. If he evaluated all the alternatives and he found out what he must purchase, then he finally decides to make a purchasing decision. What he does, he finds out logically, he thinks about emotionally, or a combination of both. He will find out and make the purchase decision. And after the purchase decision comes an important point called as post-purchase evaluation, where he will analyze the product, whether it was useful for him or not, whether it matched the expectation of customer or not, And if it matches the expectation of a consumer, definitely he will become a brand ambassador to that product who can influence other potential customers and will increase your customer base of a particular brand. So these are the 5 process. The first one is need recognition, second one is search for information, third one is evaluation of alternatives, fourth one is purchase decision, and the fifth one is post-purchase evaluation. Next, what are the levels of consumer decision making? There are 3 levels. The first one is extensive problem solving. Customers are highly involved in the product and critically evaluate the product on the basis of established product criteria that will fulfill his or her need. This happens for expensive products. Might be a car, might be an LED TV, might be a house to buy, might be a property to buy, something where he extensively or critically evaluate a product. Next is limited problem solving. Probably any product where he will just find out from the selected group of brands. For example, if he wanted to buy salt, there are 10 varieties and the 10 varieties, whichever he wants, he will choose it. Next comes the routine response behavior. The customer has a very low involvement. Just he goes to the market and picks up whatever he sees. That's called routine response behavior. This happens in the on the basis of the necessity products, where he must have used all those products and know what he wants exactly. So he does not make any serious decision or any response because has become a routine in his life. So the first one is extensive problem solving, where he involves completely. Limited problem solving, where he involves very limited manner. And routine response behavior, where it has become a routine and he will never, or there will be low involvement in the product as he selects whichever he needs because of he is using that in a routine mode. Next, what is the importance of consumer decision making? The knowledge of buying behavior sheds light on the psychology of how customers think, feel, argument, and select among existing alternatives. So the knowledge of buying behavior will shed light on the psychology as how consumers think. It also sheds light on how consumers' environment, what is the background of a consumer, you will get to know. Next, it will help to target your customers, improve your products or brands. There are 2 main factors to consider while developing your marketing strategy based on consumer decision making. Either the consumer knows of your brand or has your brand in mind when about to buy, or they may have never heard of your product at all. In these 2 categories, you will get to know how the consumer is making a decision to buy your product. We are going to the next topic, that's called as opinion leadership. The most important thing for marketer is to understand about the role of opinion leadership in marketing of goods and services. It is also called as word of mouth communication, and it is important to influence the customer more compared to any other mode. With the proliferation of the cell phone usage and email, many people are always available to friends, family, business associates. So messages spreads like virus among people. And opinion leaders are the one who offer advice or information about a product, service, or how a particular product may be used. So about a product, about this service, or how it might be used. These piece of advice or information will be given by opinion leaders. And it might be even personal or face-to-face communication. We are now coming into the definition of opinion leadership. It is defined as a process in which one person influences the attitudes or action of another person informally, who may be identified as an opinion leader. They offer informal advice about the product or service. Example, during a casual talk, a friend talks about a car he recently bought. He recommends buying it for another friend who is listening to that. So he will become an opinion leader for a friend now. And what are the characteristics of opinion leader? Opinion leaders do possess some characteristic, and those are The first one is credible source of information, because they might have already used the product. They will give you the correct source of information. Then the provision of both positive and negative information about the product will be given by the opinion leaders. The next one is source of information and advice. They simply share their experience about the product. And it's a two-way street. It can be opinion receiver or it can be an opinion leader. The last one is he possesses a specific characteristic like self-confidence. They are very socially inclined personality, outspoken and knowledgeable about your product. Because they've already bought and used your product, they will become or they can be converted into opinion leaders, where they'll give you the piece of information about your product and spread a good word of mouth about your product to the other brand ambassadors of the product. Dynamics of opinion leadership. This opinion leadership is a dynamism through which one person informally influences the action or attitudes of others. Here, the one who has a strong opinion is regarded as an opinion leader, and those who are seeking opinion are regarded as opinion seekers. So one who is giving opinion is called as leader, opinion leader. One who is seeking opinion is called seeker, is called as opinion seeker. Credibility, reliability about product information and advice is an important component which makes the opinion leadership very prominent in today's world. Next, we are jumping into another topic called as types of consumer decision making. Normally, there are three kinds. The first one is nominal decision. About the nominal decision, which is for frequent purchases about the low cost product, where required low involvement of a customer or consumer. Next comes limited, where he will be or his knowledge or his search will be for a limited purpose. The last one is extended, for the higher cost or the infrequent purchases. Might be of a higher cost, might be for an unfamiliar brand. He will extend his involvement more compared to the nominal and limited customer decisions. Next, we have a model of consumer decision making. The first model is called as economic model. It assumes that customer is rational person and takes a rational decision. What is this rationality? Doing the right time at the right point with the right person and taking a right decision is called as rationality or a rational decision. He compares, evaluates skillfully, but this model is considered unrealistic as people are limited by skills and habits and are not rational while making a purchase decision. Many people nowadays, when the youth or it might be people under 12, people under 10 age, while they are buying, they buy only after looking at their advertisements, but they do not know how to use the product at all. They are not a rational consumer while buying because they are not using the skills. They are limited in nature. Next comes passive model. This model assumes that customers take decision according to the promotional efforts, that means the marketing efforts, and respond directly to the sales and advertisement appeals. This model was also considered unrealistic as customers are capable of collecting, evaluating information and then make a purchase. Even if the company do not give their promotions, do not make their sales and advertisement appeals, the customer himself are capable of collecting and evaluating information and then make a purchase. That's called passive model. Third one is cognitive model. This model is considered as the best model because customers make decision on the basis of their own interest. It's on the mind, it's on their heart, and then take a decision. They understand the market and not on their needs or promotional efforts of their markets. They do not think or worry about the promotional efforts. If they want to buy a product and it has been there in their mind, then they will buy the product. The last one is emotional model. It states that all customers are emotional and act upon their emotions while making a purchase decision. They take very less time to think whether the product is necessary for them or not, but develops a negative or a positive emotions related to the product. So we here have studied 4 model of customer decision making. The first one is economical model. Second one is passive model. The third one is cognitive model. And the fourth one is emotional model. I hope you've learned and understood the concepts which I taught you today. And thank you for patience listening.